Man of God, I think you're going to appreciate this one. Today, I didn't just go support a walk for peace. I got a master class in marriage. Yes, today I got a master class in marriage, not from a book, not from a sermon, not from a podcast, from my wife today. We went out because there are some you all have probably seen on the news, there are some monks from Texas who are walking from Texas to DC, and they're on a walk for peace. Well, we wanted to go out and see them. I really wanted to go. My wife wanted to go. I was excited. In going, though, it brought up some anxiety because of the parking situation, meaning that there wasn't necessarily designated parking, and they just kind of give you the route at the last minute of where the monks are going to be traveling. And then you just set up wherever you park, wherever alongside the road or whatever. So it kind of gave me a lot of anxiety because I don't want to park illegally, and I like to follow the rules, and I like to know exactly where I'm going. And so in this particular time, we didn't know what their exact schedule was, when they would be on the route walking, etc. So anyway, all this anxiety is coming up. And so with this in mind, my wife and I, we get in the car originally, and it's like, okay, let's just go drive around the area. Let's drive early so we can be familiar with the area, so we see what's going on, so we see potential places where we could park. Um, so we did that. We're out, we're driving. We pull into our dentist parking lot. We're like, okay, we could park here. It was pretty much full. Then somebody's like, you're not here to have an appointment. You can't park here. So we're like, okay. So we left, a little discouraging. We're driving along again, and then we're like, man, the this group is eating lunch. We don't know how long to be. We definitely did not want to have our son, who's 1 year old or 11 months old. We did not want him out in this cold for long. He could be out there for about 10, 15 minutes. That's it. We did not want him out for hours. So we wanted to be able to park close enough to the road so that we could see when they were coming. So what happened was this, something powerful about marriage, something powerful about peace, and something powerful about emotional leadership as a Christian man. And I think a lot of you husbands need to hear this. I think you need to hear this. So we go out, we find where the route is going to be. Let me backtrack. The night before, I'm putting everything into the map so I know exactly which route they're going, because they didn't have a map. They just said, well, we're turning here and going there. So I put it into the map. That was stressful. Then like I said, in the morning we got up, we went to canvass the area, couldn't find where we were looking for. So it was like, okay, let's just drive home, because we weren't properly dressed to stay out in the cold. So let's just drive home, get some cold weather gear, and come back out. So then my wife is like, okay, when we get back home, it's like, do you want to go back immediately or wait a little while? And I was still undecided because I didn't know how long they would be, where they would be, et cetera, et cetera. And then my wife sees me very anxious, and she says this to me. She says, are you anxious because of us, or are you anxious about the situation? Let me stop there. So I'm going to come back to that. So our ultimate goal is to go out and support and witness this walk for peace. These monks are traveling across America. Beautiful moment, powerful moment. Like I said, for us, stressful, because where are we going to park? How are we going to navigate traffic? How are we going to do all this logistically? All these things are going through my mind. So, although many times when I'm a little frazzled or anxious, I keep it to myself. Sometimes in these situations, it just comes um it just comes out. And you know what, men, we have things like that in our life. And so I'm calculating all these different outcomes, different ways to go, points away. And like I said, my wife says to me this. She says, "Are you anxious about something that we did, or are you anxious about the situation?" Wow, man. That question right there, that was true wisdom. That is my wife identifying the situation and clearly asking a question so that she could get clarity. So it brings me to my first point tonight. Emotional clarity builds safety. Emotional clarity builds safety. When you have emotional clarity in your relationship with your wife, you are going to have safety. So here's what I told my wife. I said, "It's the situation, not us." And I could literally see the relief come over her, because sometimes our wives don't know, is this man stressed with life, or is he stressed with me? And I'm so glad that my wife recognized in the moment to identify the two. Which one was it? Was it the situation, or was it what she was doing or not doing? And when we clarified that, I was protecting her emotional safety in our marriage. When you clarify things, you are protecting the emotional safety in your marriage. Proverbs 12:18 says this: "Reckless words pierce like a sword, but the tongue of the wise brings healing." In this particular case, my wife, by asking the question, she brought that healing. And then by me responding the way I did out of love, it brought healing as well. Sometimes healing is simply saying this isn't about you. It's just processing the moment. I'm just processing the moment. And oftentimes, as we are processing moments in our lives, our loved ones are there and they kind of get the backlash out of that. And so they can easily think that, man, there's something going on. I did something wrong. Did I not? Wasn't I ready on time? Did I not have the right clothes on or something like that? In this case, did I not have the right cold weather gear on to go outside for this? And that wasn't a situation. It was a situation of the moment, me processing the situation of the moment, and the moment being about this, what we're trying to do. Second point I want to make is this: is let your wife help you. Let your wife help you. We do not have to be Superman in every situation. We do not have to be Superman in every situation. Let your wife help you. After that, what my wife said was this: "What do you need?" Wow, that's so powerful. What do you need? And I'm going to be real. I'm going to tell you this. At that moment, I felt the love from her. I didn't feel any judgment. She wasn't like, "Oh, you can't handle this situation. We're just going to go park." I didn't feel any judgment. I didn't feel any correction. I didn't feel any dismissal. All I felt was pure love. But men, if we don't give our wives that opportunity, we're never going to see it. Our wives are there to help us in this situation. My wife was there to help. My wife said this after we clarified what was going on with me. My wife said, "What is it that I can do? What do you need me to do for our family so we can make this happen? Is it that I get everybody's cold weather gear? Is that I make sure everybody's fed? What is it?" And I said to my wife this. I said, "What would make this the easiest on me right now is for you to go and get cold weather clothes for you and our son. And because I'm not sure how long we're going to be waiting in the car. Can you pack some snack bags? Can you pack a bag that has some drinks, some snacks in it for all three of us? Because we could potentially be in the car for several hours waiting." That my wife said, I got you. She's like, do I need to get your cold weather gear? I'm like, no, I got it. But thank you. And then just you saw the anxiousness in the air, the tension just fizzle, just dissolve by my wife simply asking those questions. Men, hear me when I say this. Being a strong man, you don't have to reject help. I have been in those situations before where I'm like, no, I got this. I don't want help from anybody. Your wife is there to help you. Your wife is there to help you. And in this situation, my wife was there to help me because there's things that make her anxious that I'm like, oh, we got this. I can do this with my eyes closed. But there's things that make me anxious. And she's like, I got this. She was, what do I need? What do you need me to do? Strong men are going to recognize partnership. And that's what I did in this situation. Ecclesiastes 4:9 says, two are better than one. Marriage is not this. Let me tell you, marriage is not this. Marriage is not you carry everything alone. Marriage is that we, you and your wife, we carry life together. Don't be afraid to ask your wife for help. Third point I want to make is this, is peace in marriage is built in small moments. Small moments like this are where peace is built. Peace wasn't built at church. Peace wasn't built during our prayer time. Peace was built in this situation, on the side of the road, in the parking lot, on our way out the door. Marriage is shaped in ordinary moments. And that's what this was for us. This was an ordinary moment that helped shape our marriage. Not just big romantic ones, but ordinary moments are what shape our marriage. Colossians 3:15 says this, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Peace is not automatic. It's practice. One of the biggest things that attracted me to my wife was the peace that I had when I was with her. There was not any drama, no shenanigans, it was just peace. It was just sitting there hour upon hour, just next to my wife, just not talking. We were just watching TV. It was just so peaceful. There was no expectation from me to do anything, just to enjoy the moment. Peace is so very important. If I have to give advice for anyone looking to get married, it's this. Look for someone who, when you're with them, you just have peace. Because peace is so hard to find. As men, we are out there day in and day out, struggling and fighting the world. And when we come home, the last thing we want is to fight at home. And to have peace at home is more precious than gold. Fourth point. Fourth point is this. Sacrifice creates bonding. Now, here's the part that really hit me. Today is Friday. And on Fridays is my wife's off day, break day. I don't know how you would call it. So what happens is this, is that I will take over full responsibilities, feeding, changing, napping, diapers, everything for our son on Fridays. And my wife can go, if she wants to go shopping, she can go shopping. If she wants to go to the library, if she wants to just go for a ride, if she wants to sleep in, if she wants quiet time, just her to have some time to herself. But today, she chose our family. She chose to sacrifice. She chose to not have her day and yet and be with us. And that's sacrifice. That's what she chose to do. And sacrifice is what builds love deeper than convenience ever will. Sacrifice is what builds love. Later, once we got back, and I said to her when we were headed back out again, or at one point in time, it was like, hey, you know what? I know this is kind of getting in the way of your day. She was like, you know what? This is more important. She's like, our family wants to go see this. This is what we need to do. John 15:13 says this: greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. Sacrifice. Marriage isn't built on me time. It's not built on me time. It's built on us investment. And today we invested in our relationship. We invested in our relationship because here's what happened. So my wife is depending upon me to get us to where we're going, get us in the right location, get us settled, and get us home safely. And I'm relying on her to help us get ready and help ease some of the decision making. Us investing in one another, us investing in our relationship. Teaching point number 5 is this: family moments are kingdom moment. We weren't just watching monks walk for peace. We were modeling family presence. We were modeling family patience, family support, family emotional care, family unity for our son, for others, because others saw us out there. Wow, you know what? It's funny because we're sitting in the car. We found a spot. Oh my goodness, it was a primo spot, perfect. And we found a spot. And my wife gets out of the car and she's walking around because she wants to look. Or first, I get out of the car. I'm walking around. I want to look and see if there's a better spot. No better spot. My wife gets out the car. She's looking, blah, 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 yada, yada. People are coming up. Crowds are forming, blah, blah, blah. Then next thing you know, we bring out Caleb. We bring out our son, Caleb. We put him in the stroller. He's standing up and he has the cutest bear outfit on ever. Wow, you want to talk about all the looks, all the comments. Oh, he's the cutest little boy, this and that. And it was great for people to see our family there together, that family unity. So we were being an example, not only to ourselves, to our son, but to others. Your marriage is the first sermon that your children will ever watch. Your marriage is the first sermon your children will ever watch. And I believe today we didn't have to say a thing, but us showing up together as a family and taking care of our son and me taking care of my wife showed a lot to those who were watching. So after we get done seeing the monks, here's the way situation. There was a line, there was a row of people in front of me. I could kind of squeeze through and get a couple pictures. And then my wife and Caleb stood a little bit farther back, but they could still see everything, through. And so we left. And this is the great thing about my wife. It just got better. So this is the great thing about my wife. We leave and we get in the car. Everything's organized. We get loaded back in the car. And we turn in such a way that we can easily go home. And as we're going home, my wife was like, hey, that's the road right there if we wanted to go to the other location. I was like, well, you want to go see if it's crowded or not? And she's like, sure. So we're just going to see if it's crowded or not. And it wasn't. And I was like, do you want to go here? My wife's like, yes, let's turn. So it was great. I didn't have to make the decision. My wife was like, let's turn in. So we turned into the new location and we found a park right up front. Perfect. And so I told my wife, let me walk up ahead to see if there's a spot. And so I walked up ahead, found a spot, showed my wife where the spot was. So Caleb was sleeping. And so my wife, she went up and she got that close interaction that she wanted. So it was like, at first, it was my time to get my pictures and get my excitement out of the way. And then my wife had her time where she got to see the peace walkers up close, and she was like, yeah, even four of them waved to me, and she was excited. But you know what I think was so great is that we both got what we needed out of that. And it's funny how in relationships sometimes we see situations where you how can I say, it's like I don't say a competition, but you have situations where it's one person doesn't get what they need out of the situation. You get the short end of the stick, so to speak, where one person is satisfied, the other person is not satisfied. One person's happy, one person's sad. In this situation, I love how God worked it out so that I could get what I needed and my wife got what she needed. So my wife stood out there and she's waving and she's having a great time. And I'm in the car watching. I'm there with Caleb and he's still sleeping away. But it was just a great family moment. So, how can you apply this to your lives? Here's what I want you to try. When you feel stressed, men of God, when you feel stressed, say this situation is stressful. It's not marriage stress, but it's this situation. Let your wife know, especially if you come home and you're in a bad mood, they immediately think you're upset with them. Let them know, hey, work was stressful today. This is just the situation that was stressful. It's not about our marriage. Let them know that. And when your wife asks you what you need, brother, be honest. Tell your wife exactly what you need. If you need a few moments alone, let her know. Hey, babe, I need a few moments alone. If you say, hey, you know what? I just need a glass of water, or hey, I just need to vent. Can you listen? Or hey, could I just get a back rub or something like that? Let them know. Be honest with your wife, because that's what that's what your wife is for. That's what God gave your wife for you to be able to talk, share, and communicate. And the more honest you are, when you tell your wife what you really need, then it gives her the option to give you what you need. And she's not a mind reader. She's giving you what you asked for. So if you ask for the wrong thing and you get the wrong thing, you have no one to blame but yourself. The next thing I want you to do is this. When your wife sacrifices, notice it. Comment, say something. Say thank you. I understand what you did. I see what you do. Honor it. Honor that sacrifice. Brother, today was not only about peace. It was about family. It was about sacrifice. It was about love. It was about partnership. And it reminded me, marriage isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about being honest. It's about being unified and letting God build peace between you, moment by moment. Because when a husband and a wife learn to walk in peace together, life gets lighter, love gets deeper, and your family gets so much stronger. Brother, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Take care and God bless.